Hey guys, welcome back to the Calling Council. David St. John here at Elite Calls. We're going to take a little break away from doing basic things with quacks and cadences and things like that, and we're going to talk about some field tips because we've had a question about how do we finish ducks, and that's kind of what I'm going to lead into right here. Finishing ducks for me on the early season seems to be sometimes a little bit easier. So kind of things I do to try to finish a duck once they start breaking back around behind you and come into their setup mode. I typically get pretty soft with little soft hens, little clucks and things like that. And what I'm using today actually to do that with is a cache. This is one of my favorite calls right here in the Elite lineup. It's a mid-range call, typically I use for the timber. I do use a few other calls where I can get a little bit louder if I have to on windier days, but the cache is kind of the one I'm using. But talk about finishing ducks on the early season. When I actually try to finish them, like I said a moment ago, when they're breaking back around and they're trying to get into a setup mode, I kind of do a soft hen call. What that is, just little whiny notes. Just little whiny notes for myself. And sometimes I just kind of use a little cluck with it, like a little feed cluck. On that early season, for me, that seems to work the best. A lot of times these ducks, being brand new into the state of Arkansas and coming around in the timber, they love to hear that little soft hen right there from myself. I love using that. When you actually get into the mid to later season, you would think that would work a lot of times using a soft cadence like that or a soft hen. I have noticed a lot of times when ducks are trying to, in the late season now, trying to make an approach, they're going to peel off of that because they're going to be decoy shy, for as timber, they're hole shy, and they're trying to get away. And a lot of times I felt like with myself, if I get a little more aggressive on calling these ducks in the late season, it seems to work and it actually makes them turn back around. It's almost like a fast comeback call, but I stay on them pretty heavy. So what I do is I hit them harder. That seems kind of crazy for late season. I've seen it work a lot in late season. But the biggest thing about doing this is you have to actually read the ducks and make sure you're paying attention to what actually makes them ducks turn and what notes you actually hit. Because sometimes even in the late season, it's good to have the soft hens and really easy quacks and little clucks like that. But just kind of read these ducks when they're breaking back around and see what they want to hear. Like I said, a lot of times they're going to see another bunch of water down away from you, and even in the early season, they may not want to land into something pretty tight. They want to land in something a little more open, and that's actually for me the mid-season when ducks are starting to find the bigger timber holes to go into. You know, there's some holes out there now that you can't see that you didn't know were there because some of the storms and stuff that's blowing around. So these ducks, you got to really get on them. Even in the early season, I try that hard stuff if the soft stuff's not working. So I kind of flip back and forth, but I've had more success on that soft hen on the early season, and really on the late season, mid to late season ducks, when they're trying to get away from you, I'll hit them a little bit harder, like that fast comeback, and I'll do it multiple times in a row. It makes it sound like a refuge full of ducks is right there around you. So guys, I hope this tip helps you out. That was a great question of how we finish ducks. You know, everybody has it a little bit different, but this is kind of how I kind of use my duck calls when I'm finishing ducks. Guys, till next time, thank you for watching.